English Literature, Introduction to Poetry. To Autumn by John Keats. Brief questions with answers. Question 1. When was John Keats born and when did he die? Answer. John Keats was born on 31st October 1795 and died on 23rd February 1821. Question 2. Where was John Keats born and where did he die? Answer. He was born in London and died in Rome. Question 3. What did Keats study for profession? Answer. He studied medicine to be a doctor. Question 4. With whom Keats was in love? Answer. He was in love with Fanny Brawle. Question 5. What is the title of the poem he wrote for Fanny Brawle? Answer. The title of the poem that he wrote for Fanny Brawle is Bright Star. Question 6. What caused John Keats' death? Answer. Tuberculosis caused his death. Question 7. Who among the romantic poets was his friend? Answer. Shelley was his friend. Question 8. What did Shelley do to commemorate Keats' death? Answer. Shelley wrote Adonais, a famous elegy, to commemorate Keats' death. Question 9. What is the line Keats wanted to be written on his tomb? Answer. Keats requested his friend to write on his tomb, "Here lies one whose name was written in water." Question 10. What type of poem is the To Autumn? Answer. To Autumn is an ode. Question 11. Who has been addressed in To Autumn? Answer. Autumn has been addressed in To Autumn. Question 12. What is the name of the figure of speech in the speaker's address to Autumn? Answer. It is an expanded apostrophe because the address has been extended till the end of the poem. Question 13. Mark the figure of speech in the line "Season of mist and mellow fruitfulness." Answer. There are two cases of alliteration in the line in it. M and F have been repeated at the beginning of stressed syllables. Question 14. Name the figure of speech that occurs in the friendship between autumn and sun. Answer. There is personification because the sun and autumn have been treated as human beings who can make friendship. Question 15. Name the figure of speech in the line with fruit the vines that found the taste Eve's run. There is oxymoron because the rhythm created by the accented and unaccented syllables reflects the movement of the vines which dangle at a regular gap between the edge of the thatch for the load of grapes. Question 16. What figure of speech do you find in the line conspiring with him how to load and bless? Answer. There is a case of assonance because all has been repeated 4 times. Question 17. What are the images that appeal to the sense of taste in the first stanza of To Autumn? Answer. The images that appeal to the senses of taste are grapes, the vines, apples, gourds, hazel shells, and honey, clammy shells of bees. Question 18. Name the figure of speech in the line and fill all fruit with ripeness to the core. Answer. At the end of the words fill and all, LL has been repeated without repetition of the vowel before it. The figure of speech that takes place in this kind of repetition is called consonance. And there is also a case of alliteration for the repetition of F. Question 19. Which sound dominates from the line 7 to 11? What does the dominance signify? Answer. The letter S has been repeated several times, creating S and Z sounds which are similar to the sounds of bees. These sounds reflected the source of the swarm of bees at work and thus make a lively image. It is an oxymoron because the sounds reflect the meaning. Question 20. Who is the thee and thy in the line? Who hath not seen thee oft amid thy store? Answer. In a quoted line, thee and thy refer to autumn, personified as an rural omen. The address is an extension of the apostrophe that has begun in the first line. Question 21. Name the figure of speech in the line, and sometimes like a gleaner thou dost keep. Answer. In the quoted line, autumn has been explicitly compared to a gleaner. It is a simile. Question 22. What figure of speech do you find in winnowing wind? There is an oxymoron because the sound of the phrases suggests the movement of the winnow against the wind for separating chaff from grains. Question 23. Name the figure of speech in steady thy leaden head. Answer. There is assonance in the words steady and head since EA has been repeated. Question 24. What figure of speech do you find in oozing hours by hours? Answer. There is an oxymoron in the quoted words because their slowly moving sounds suggest the slowly falling drops of juice. Question 25. Find out alliteration in the line while bud clouds bloom the soft dying day. Answer. In bud and bloom, B has been repeated. In dying and day, D has been repeated. Question 26. What musical sounds does autumn offer? The musical sounds that autumn offer are wailful choir of the small gnats, loud bleating of full-grown lambs, hedge cricket's song, whistles of the red breast, and the twitter of swallows. Question 27. What is the tone of the line, think not of them, thou hast thy music too? Answer. The tone of the line is sympathetic. It offers consolation. Question 28. Why do the swallows gather and twitter in the skies? Answer. The swallows gather and twitter in the skies to consult among themselves where to go for warmer weather, leaving the cold weather of English winter. Question 29. What does the twittering of the gathering swallows suggest? Answer. The twittering of the gathering swallows suggests that the winter is coming soon. It symbolizes oncoming death. Question 30. How do you relate the maturing sun to the soft dying day? Answer. They are the two different times of the day. The maturing sun indicates noontime, while the soft dying day suggests evening. They symbolize a full-grown man and a dying person, respectively. Question 31. What are the themes of To Autumn? Answer. The theme of the poem is inevitably of death and the beauty of autumn. Thank you, viewers, for watching my video.